All right. So I just got out of The Flash, and I hate saying this because it's just, opening night, it's awesome. I love seeing these movies opening night, but I hate to say, maybe it's because I built up the hype for myself so much, but I was kind of disappointed, a little let down. It was not a bad movie. It was not bad at all. For me, it was just a little slow, and it does not, all theories aside, that movie does not go the way you expect it to at all. Like, there are twists and turns the villain totally saw coming. I even knew that was going to be the case before the movie, just through the comics and shit like that. That was easy. But the movie itself was just, it was good. Soundtrack by Benjamin Wolfus with the score, amazing. I liked all the song choices they did. The CGI for me, I saw with one of my buddies, it did not work for him. He thought it all looked bad. He liked the story a lot more than I did, but he thought it looked bad. For me, it was the story it lacked, but the effects, for me it worked because the movie itself is a little hokey and the effects look like a video game a little bit, but that fits for this movie, And I'm not like it. Maybe I was tired with work today, but maybe, I was just kind of tired sitting there watching the movie. But maybe I like it more over time, less. It's just, I don't know. As a Flash fan, it's hard to give an opinion on this movie, man. I know I just saw it, but it's not like Guardians 3 where I immediately loved it after watching it, and I'm a DC guy, but guess what? Best movie of the year, still Across the Spider-Verse. That movie, I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't go as, I've been hearing about The Flash for the past year and a half, and everyone who's seen it has been saying it's freaking amazing, right? But then, I knew Spider-Verse was going to be good, but I didn't go in there with such huge expectations like I did this movie, and it blew my socks off. And as an anime fan, and hardcore DC and Marvel animated fan with the Spider-Man animated series, Batman animated series, Spider-Verse was amazing. And maybe I'll do a separate video on that, but yeah, Across the Spider-Verse, amazing. And it's just kind of funny because I hate saying this. I'm seeing all these characters. I'm seeing it's not huge spoiler. There are members of the Justice League in this movie, and that's my team. And it's just amazing seeing all of them. But almost the whole time during the movie, I'm like, man, I kind of wish I was watching Across the Spider-Verse again, just because I loved that movie so much. It blew me away what they did with the animation. And this movie, I know it sounds like I'm shitting on this movie. I still really liked it. However, is it as good as this masterpiece that's on my shirt right now? Oh, shit. I still got to represent Mr. Snyder. And no, it's not nearly as good as those movies. And, I'm going to have to keep seeing this movie. I might like it more over time. The end really worked for me. Not the last, 5 minutes, but, the climactic moment was pretty badass, and you got to see some amazing cameos. And some of them I kind of wish I didn't know going through. They kind of just, I don't want to say it, but, director Andy Muschietti, I think that's how you pronounce his name, kind of spoiled one of the cameos in the Speed Force, and it's kind of like, man, that would have been awesome not to know. It was still awesome, and hell, James Gunn, you're doing your all sports thing. If you make that, what I saw in that little 30 seconds of that scene, a movie, oh my God, I will shit bricks. That would be freaking amazing. But those cameos were badass. Okay, I cannot believe I just said it. I'm a huge Batman guy. Batman is my person. Michael Keaton was fucking amazing. Fantastic. I'm a big Flash fan. My sister is even bigger Flash fan. But that, as a Batman guy, that brought back so much nostalgia. I'm a youngling, but I grew up. I saw my grandpa actually showed me the Tim Burton Batman movies when I was real young, and absolutely loved them. That Batman '89 along with the Nolan trilogy, just huge deal. And I call him Batman Returns a little later. That's also fantastic. And Michael Keaton in this movie was so good. But him and Supergirl, this isn't a spoiler, but they're not in that movie all that much, really. I kind of wish and there's a lot that happens in this movie. Maybe I'll talk, this is kind of experimenting. It's been a dream of mine to talk about this kind of stuff with, hopefully maybe start something on YouTube or whatever, but so this is weird, first time doing this, yeah. And Batfleck is still, him and Pattinson is right there close, but the scene with Batfleck, and I actually loved the scene with Ben Affleck in this movie. I wish there was more, because he's my favorite live action Batman. And he said in an interview this is his best work. It's not. BVS is still by far his best work as Batman. Him in that movie as a scarred vigilante for 20 years. It's fantastic. But I still had to represent my Mr. Snyder right here. Now, the end of this movie it's frustrating, because this is a very, very, very loose adaptation of Flashpoint. And man, in a way, I kind of wish they just adapted the graphic novel. Now, what they did with bringing Keaton instead of Thomas Wayne is going to allow this movie to make way more money because of this nostalgia factor. But it's just, that DC animated movie, Flashpoint Paradox, is like 3 times as good as a movie as this movie is. And that movie is amazing. But it's just it's very loose adaptation, and lukewarm. But it's just kind of like with the ending, with all the James Gunn stuff going on. I'm a huge Henry Cavill Superman guy. I'm pumped up for James Gunn's Superman, even though it's not Cavill. I'm very interested. I think James Gunn's, for a while I didn't want him to do it, but after seeing Guardians 3 and realizing how much I like pretty much every single movie he's done, I'm still, half a year ago, I was pissed off that Henry Cavill wasn't Superman anymore. However, based off the end of this movie, it's kind of hard to say, because, as a Flashpoint, it reboots the continuity of the New 52, right? There's definitely shit that happens at the end of this movie, but I left the theater with more questions than questions answered. It's still ambiguous on what the heck's going on. Is this going to continue in another reality? I'll just say this. If you're wanting to know what it leads into James Gunn stuff, just don't expect it. Don't bring your expectations down, because unless they answer, I think this may be the end of the movie, and then his stuff I'm starting to think more and more his stuff's just going to start off fresh. Now, maybe what he meant by rebooting is that this movie establishes the multiverse to where once that reboot happens, as an audience, we understand that, like, oh, okay, this is, we know there's a multiverse, this is another world. However, how the heck's that going to happen? Because he's bringing his Suicide Squad guys over. And that's just, unless they pull the Marvel variant thing, like, in Loki, where it's the same actors and stuff, they make it very clear that the actors, you can't really do that DC, because DC's had a lot more various continuities than Marvel has in the movies. A lot more reboots, a lot more people. Look how many people have played just Batman and Superman. They can't really do that like Marvel can. Marvel's in a much better spot with that. And it's kind of funny saying that, because DC's usually, multiverse is kind of DC's thing. And Flashpoint predates Spider-Verse, what Marvel's done with MCU's done with the multiverse and stuff. But it's just kind of like, now I enjoyed this more than Doctor Strange, and I think this handles the multiverse, and the explanation with time that Michael Keaton gives in this movie is way better than the MCU's ever done. However, Spider-Verse, when it comes to superheroes, definitely top tier. That's still by far the best. Well, yeah. Was it as good as the Snyder trilogy? No, the Snyder trilogy, those are still up in my favorite comic movies of all time. Zack Snyder's Justice League is my favorite superheroes movie of all time. It's not as good as those. It's not as good as the first Wonder Woman. It's not as good as James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Heck, I even think I liked Aquaman and the first Shazam more than I did this movie. This is crazy saying this. Maybe it's because I built up such high expectations for this film. But I enjoyed Shazam 2 a little bit more than this movie. I got to see it again. As a Flash fan, I just started the Mark Waid run on the Flash, and that's Wally West. Okay, Ezra Miller. For a first video, this is going on longer than I thought, but you know what? It's fun. Ezra Miller, to me, is not Barry Allen. He's a great Flash. He does a great guy, but to me, he's much more of a Bart Allen impulse, or maybe even a little bit of Wally West. Definitely Bart Allen, but even maybe more Wally West than Barry Allen. To me, growing up, Barry Allen was never really a big jokester. You know, Grant Gustin, I like him as Barry Allen. I think he's a little jokey too. I mean, he's much more of Barry Allen than Ezra. But, you know, Ezra Miller, this is a different take. I like different takes on heroes and Elseworlds and stuff. That's why I love Snyder's movies. They're much more of the Elseworlds, hard-edged movies. Ezra Miller's Barry Allen works fantastic as the jokey speedster in those movies because every other character in the league is a serious character. You know, with Jason Momoa's Aquaman, the Trinity, and Cyborg. But on his own movie, you know, it's a little. They make a joke with younger Barry because, you know, there's two Barrys in this movie because he goes back in time, and the younger Barry is very obnoxious and annoying. I got a little tired of him, but they make a funny joke. I really appreciate it just because the older Barry, who we've known as being the jokester and a little bit annoying guys in the previous movies, is kind of like, oh shit, I didn't realize how obnoxious I was, you know, and it's very funny that works really well. But, you know, as Barry Allen, I you know, for Elseworlds Barry Allen, he's good. You know, he's not my Barry Allen, but I really like him as the Flash. In this world, it works. I just think it works way better as him as a side character in Snyder's movies and all the other cameos he's made throughout the DCEU rather than his own film, you know. I gotta see this again. I know it sounds like I'm shitting on this. I still really enjoyed it. I really liked it. A lot of the cameos towards the end were totally badass. The villain popped up at the end, even though it's not as much as I wanted. The special effects, what they did with the villain, was really cool. Zod kind of sucks in this movie. The trailer, I was so hyped seeing him. It's kind of overdone with, and he's not really has the presence there. Michael Shannon really doesn't do much in this movie. It was pretty badass seeing him, but yeah, there's a scene with Michael Keaton and a Kryptonian in this movie that is freaking, it's real short, but oh my god, it is fantastic. And there's a fight scene in this movie. Does it touch the Ben Affleck warehouse fight scene? Oh, hell no. That scene is still my favorite comic scene of all time. Some of the best superhero fight choreography ever. But it's still really good. I wonder if they got the same stunt double or same team or something for that as they did Snyder's movie, you know. And as a cap off the Snyder's the Snyderverse, really, you know, for a lot of people, I think the reason I built up the hype for so much for this movie, and I was so hyped, the expectations for me for this movie were through the roof, is because of what everyone's been saying, you know, especially say, hey, this is kind of the end of the Snyderverse and stuff. To me, it kind of, that's hard because even though you see a lot of people in this movie and it kind of concludes a lot of stuff, it doesn't, for me, it does not work as that, really. It's the conclusion. It's a love letter to DC. It's straight up a love letter to DC. And I would say it does not disrespect Snyder stuff, but come on. I mean, if they did more of a hard reboot at this movie but we still had the Snyder's Justice League, part 2 and 3, it would have worked just fine. Even if because they really could, him coming back, everything could have been fixed and it could have just been a Flash solo movie adventure, you know? And I think it's because I thought this movie was going to be way more gravitas, way more big, a lot more into the world shit, you know, cosmic stuff going down. And it's really much more of a self-contained emotional story. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people like that. With Flash, it's kind of the end of a universe kind of thing. You know, it's the first time we've seen really cinematic universe come to complete end, you know. For me, it does not work. For that reason, it does not work for me. Supergirl, badass. I wish there was more of her. You could definitely tell she's Henry Cavill's cousin in this universe. It's perfect. I hope the Supergirl movie that they're adapting from Tom King's Woman of Tomorrow, which is a fantastic book, I hope they keep her, because Supergirl in that book is a much more jaded Supergirl, and they nailed that with this movie. And some of the special effects with the running, the opening scene, the way he poses and it zooms on his boot and he shoots out, absolutely amazing. Fantastic. Again, I liked all the songs. I think I'm gonna have to marinate a little more on this movie. I might like it more over time. I might not like it, but you know, as a comic book guy, I'll do more videos theorizing what I think is going to happen with James Gunn's stuff. You know, he's doing the Waller show, right? And he says the writers from Doom Patrol are on that show, okay? And I think he says it's all going to be wacky and stuff. I think there's going to be universe stuff that Waller is going to be looking at the metahumans from an outside perspective and seeing the world change or something freaking crazy happening because of the events of this movie. I think that's how he's going to tie it in. He may not. It just may start. It just may be, oh, boom, start new Superman, and then James Gunn's people just carry over. He may not explain it. I mean, who knows? I hope so. He's a comic book guy. I trust in James Gunn. I know he's got a lot of heat. You know, my dad, I know he's disappointed that a lot of people in the DCU aren't caring for it. Me too. I was mad for months, y'all. Believe me, with the Henry Cavill situation. But I trust in him, and it's gonna be awesome. I just want another Superman movie at this point. You know, Superman, Batman, and Superman are my two favorite characters of all time. Batman, Superman, Hal Jordan, and Guts. I mean, I know this is completely out left field, but you know, Guts from Berserk is up as a character. You know, Spider-Man, Daredevil. Sorry, I'm trailing off. I'm going off. I get excited. I go off of so many different topics. But okay, to conclude this video, it's wrapping up. 16 minutes long first video. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I just wanted to do an out theater reaction. I got going. You know, I meant this to be a short thing, but you know, sometimes it goes longer than you think. As of right now, it's a 6 out of 10 for me. So a B- for me. It may go up, may go down. You know, it's still a good movie. As a Flash fan and as a DC fan, I still recommend everyone sees this. Is it as good as everyone's saying? No. David Zaslav said this is the greatest superhero film of all time. No, it's. I don't think so. It doesn't. For me, it doesn't come close as the greatest superhero film of all time. You know, as a DC fan, I still really liked it, but still the last amazing DC film we still have was of the Batman last year. But, you know, one last thing before I cap it off. I'll do more videos on this, but with the Elseworlds side of things, this establishes the multiverse. So we're getting Elseworlds with Joker and the Batman, Matt Reeves' Batman. You know, if Snyder comes back, you could have this diverged in two different timelines, and you can still finish Snyder's movies. But, you know, the audience understands multiverse and stuff, and they understand that would be a separate continuity, that there'd be no confusion, you know. But who knows, that might never happen. And I won't say I've let that go, but as a DC fan, I am pumped up for James Gunn's future. I'm just excited that DC is its own studios and has stuff coming out and it's moving forward. I think this movie can make a lot of money. And you know, hopefully it does, you know. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Blue Beetle's the next movie. I don't know if that's really going to have anything to do with the multiverse, but we'll see. I'll come with more theories, and I'll definitely write something script and put something together so I'm not just rambling. I have a thing. But I was out of theater reaction. Flash, good movie. Go see it. Lower expectations, but still good movie. 6 out of 10 for me. So, yeah. Catch you later.